Hi guys, it's Spiritual Butterfly here, bringing you another update. So today I want to talk about the dark night of the soul, and without delay, let's get into it. So sometimes when you first start to awaken and you look around at the world with brand new eyes and you start to realize everything about religions and the governments and the royals, and you just start to, the whole world just seems to open up to you, and you just seem to start seeing things for what they really are, and also how beautiful things are for the first time. If you've been asleep for the whole of your life, for the first time you could start to really connect with nature and other people and music in a different way, and that's just so different and beautiful, and you start to feel like there's purpose for the first time, truly, without just making blind plans for the life that would be revolving around work or money or what you were going to buy next or the next holiday you were going to book and things like that. You start to really connect with things in a totally different way, so you start to really just take time to sit quietly and listen to the words of songs. Everything seems to have new meaning and it just all feels so different. And then one day you can just wake up and, well, I didn't know it was a dark night of the soul at the time, to be honest. The first time it happened, I just woke up one morning with the most horrendous feeling of what's it all for, and I just felt so tired and drained and depressed, and I felt scared and alone and crazy. I just thought to myself, what am I doing here? Like, I know there's a reason why I'm here, but now I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning myself. Am I going crazy? Like, do other people think like this, or am I just having a breakdown type of thing? And I honestly felt so alone in the world, and at the same time all I wanted to do was be alone. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't even want to be with myself. I couldn't answer the phone for months. This went on for months. I couldn't be around anyone. Doing the school run, I would put my sunglasses on and my hood up and run to the school and run back. I just could not wait to be back inside these four walls and hide away. Now, luckily for me, my mum and all of my sisters and my brother and my partner, they're all spiritual. So they all feel pretty much the same, so we can all have conversations on the phone and we can totally relate to each other. So whilst I was going through that, I would phone my mum crying and saying, Mum, I feel weird again. I feel weird. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? There's nothing to be here for. And my mum would say, you know, just surrender to it. Let it move through. It'll pass. And I really didn't know what she meant at that point by surrender to it. I was just thinking, surrender to this. I don't want to feel this. But there was no escape. There was nothing that anything could do to make me feel better. Nothing at all. Nothing felt fun anymore. My friends didn't resonate the same. I didn't want to watch anything on TV apart from spiritual things. And I was slowly just finding who I was and where I fitted in. And before this episode, I just thought I knew everything. I thought I knew what everything was. And then this just totally made me realise I just felt like I knew nothing anymore. I felt like I didn't even know myself or anything. So then I went through that for a period of about 6-7 months the first time, and I honestly thought that was never going to go away, and I started getting all these old emotions coming up of times that I'd been embarrassed even as a kid if someone had called me a name about my trousers I was wearing or my shoes, or times when at college if someone had taken the mick out of me or anything, just the smallest thing that I honestly thought just didn't affect me or didn't matter. Every single thing was just coming up and I was ignoring it and pushing it away and pushing it down, and I didn't want to feel it. And then I realised that what my mum was talking about was right. So I remember one day, it would happen when I was meditating a lot. So I would start to meditate, and before that I just felt so peaceful in my meditation. And then during this period of the dark night, I would meditate and then I would feel horrible sadness and negative emotion and energy trying to come up, and I would always jump up and stop meditating, and I'd think, this just isn't working, there's something wrong here. And then one day I thought to myself, whatever this dark feeling is that I'm getting when I meditate, I got to the point where I knew I had to do my meditation and I knew it was going to make me feel better, but I just didn't want to feel that. So the end conclusion was that I had to face the feelings in the end. There was no other way. I had to face up to these negative emotions that I didn't want to feel. So I laid there doing my meditation and I felt the familiar feeling of fear coming up, and I let it rise up and it got stronger and stronger and stronger, and then I just released it and I felt that happen. And so I repeatedly did that every day, and I would start to sit with myself and think about the things that were affecting me and slowly change my habits. And I really had to sit down with myself, and I had the massive urge to just declutter things, change things, changed every single thing about my life. I mean, everything down to not watching TV, not eating meat, not drinking alcohol, not going out, apart from to go for meals with my partner and cinema every once in a while. Just changed every single thing. Going for walks a lot. There's a little like a woods or a forest around the corner from me, so we take the dog over there with the kids, or I'll just, if I feel negative, I would take the kids out, whether it was pouring with rain, we just get our coats on and put our hoods up and take the dog for a walk, and that would just make me feel so much better, just walking and just being in the quiet. And I started to get really comfortable with being on my own, because for a while there I did not want to be around anyone, but I also didn't want to be on my own, and it was just the strangest time, and I really thought I was going to feel like that forever and ever and ever. I thought that I was basically trapped in the feeling of what I can imagine hell to feel like, with all this negative thought and emotion and feeling, and also an understanding that I'm here, I'm alive, and searching so deep to find out the answers of what the Creator, what my relationship to life was and to the Creator, and who and what I was and what I was doing here, and why. The biggest question was why, and quite a few times I just felt like ending it all during that dark night of the soul period. I had no desire to do anything at all. I was so tired. I just wanted to sleep all the time, but I couldn't because I've got 5 children, and so I had to function in a normal way for them outwardly, but on the inside I felt like everything was crumbling apart. Like my 3D life was in such a state of change that I couldn't explain to anyone really what was going on, and I truly felt so alone. and I would get really frightening thoughts and feel scared and panicky. I just felt so without peace, and so I really didn't feel happy when I should. Like, you know, if my partner would say, let's get ready and go somewhere, and before I would have just loved to have got all dressed up and put some new jewellery on, and I just kept thinking to myself, nothing felt exciting. There was no excitement, there was no joy, there was only me just plodding through every day without any hope and any peace and any excitement. And I thought that was it for the rest of my life, that I was going to feel like that. But it was my ego dying, and that was the struggle going on, and I became aware of the thoughts inside my head. So I would be having a conversation with somebody, and suddenly a thought would pop into my head, and it would just say the meanest thing about the person. And then I'd think, I don't think like that. Where's that thought coming from? And then there'd be another thought in my head that would say, no, you don't think like that. So, you know, don't. So basically what I'm trying to say is, there was two thoughts in my head. There was a good thought and a bad thought, and then there was me in the middle just watching it all take place in my head, if that makes sense. And so this is how I felt crazy. And what I realized was that these weren't my thoughts. There was kind of a battle going on inside of me, and I had to learn who I was and to learn to take charge of me and my life. And so I started to remember, I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I didn't know what I found fun. I didn't know anything about myself. After my awakening, I mean, before my awakening, I literally clearly never knew myself. I was blindly living. And so I had to relearn and remember who I was, and even down to like the games that I liked, or just anything that I wanted to do for fun or as a pastime. Like, because I used to socialise through drinking and things like that, or going to nightclubs or pubs or places like that, once you change everything and you change even your friends, you feel alone and you don't know where your place is in the world anymore. So I had to relearn everything and change all my future plans, because none of that resonated with me anymore. And the only thing that I wanted to do now was just learn. I had to relearn again who I was, basically. And so I isolated myself for the longest time, and I did come out of it at the other side. And at the other side, what I've been left with is, I've had to learn to be loving with myself and learn to remember who I am and what I bring to the table, and that if I like a person, they can also like me back just for being me. I don't have to impress them or please them or do things for them to like me. They can like me just as much as I like them, just because I'm me. And it takes a lot for you to get your head back around them things. You've got to remember that you are the light and the darkness is your opposite, and so the darkness really does want to see you fail and hate yourself almost, not love yourself and not be proud of your achievements. I mean, even just getting through life and still being strong, still being in one piece, raising a family right. We all make our mistakes, of course we do. That's part of life and that's part of soul growth. We all make mistakes, but just keep on going every day and be proud of the fact that you're trying your best every single day and you're getting through and you're not failing. And even when you make a mistake, it's not a fail, it's just a learning curve. It's just another day that you're gonna put to rest when you go to bed that night, and you're going to wake up the next morning with a brand new attitude, and you can start with positive affirmations, and you can say, this is going to be a good day. And now I always write things down that I want to achieve that day. So I might think to myself, right, I've got these bills to pay, I've got to make these appointments, and then I've got to do XXX, and then I get them done, and I just feel like that's an achievement in itself, to get everything done and to sit down at the end of a day and think, there's no worries, I'm right with the world, I've got no enemies, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I think that was a big thing, was realising that I've got nothing to prove. Like, if people don't like me for me, then, when I'm always good to people and they still don't like me, then that's not my bad. I've totally realised that there's nothing to fear and there's nothing to worry about, because we're right where we should be. And when you come out of the other side of your dark night of the soul, you really do feel like so much different. Like, I never thought that was going to end, by the way. So if you're feeling like that now, just keep on going. Just care for yourself well. Do what you need to do to get through it. Just persevere, research, meditate, release. The most important thing is releasing, letting go and surrender, and prayer. And you will naturally just look so deep within yourself to find your connection to the Creator and to the world, and to what it is that resonates with you, because we all have our own truth, but we all come from a similar place, so we can actually help each other and guide each other just through remembrance and similarities. But just really sit with yourself and really be kind with yourself during the dark night, and I promise you will come out the other side just like a caterpillar to a butterfly. You will be so different and so brand new, and you'll have so much hope, because you'll realise that, you know, we're here now. We can choose to make our day amazing and positive, and even if things go bad, we can choose how we react to them. We can't control anything else at all but the way we react and our actions. As long as you're always being humble and, you know, doing things the right way and always trying your best, you will start to feel so proud of yourself, and you'll sleep so much easier at night. And in time, you know, you will just release everything that was holding you back. You'll start to release them chains. Now, I thought that I had actually gone through my dark night, and when I came out the other side, I remember saying to my sister Vicky, I said, Vicky, I just feel so different. I've came out the other side and I'm brand new. I know my purpose now. Everything's fine again. And I thought to myself, you know, this is it. And then I went back in it again for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I came out again and went back in for a week, and then I came out again and went back in for a couple of days. It's like, I say in because it takes over you. It's like you're in this bubble and there's nothing to do but address it and release it. So with every time that energy came, and I suppose it had a lot to do with the cycles of the moon and the planets and things as to what I was feeling and releasing. But all I can say is that I did release it, and I got used to the energy each time it came around, and so it was a lot easier, and I recognised the feeling. And my partner's exactly the same. Like, some days he'll say to me, I've got the energy today, I feel a bit, you know, in it, and I'll say to him, you know, just let's stay in today, or let's take it easy today. You start to realise and recognise when you need to self-care a bit more, and you just, it becomes natural. It becomes a part of the waves. You sort of ride in the waves. But the initial dark night after the first, like, bubble period of your awakening where everything just seems so beautiful. It really was. It felt impossible. It felt like my life was over, because feeling awakened and having such a knowing, but then feeling so hopeless and lost and with no control, you know, then I learned that I didn't need to have the control. I didn't need any control over anything. I just needed to go with the flow, not worry too much, not stress too much. Everything always works out in the end, you know. The Lord always guides us to the right things on the right day. Things always work out, something always comes up, so we'd never need to worry about money or the house being a mess, because, you know, I used to sometimes think, oh my God, the house is a mess, my head's going all over, I need to clean it. But now I just clean as I go, and if the kids trash it with the toys, there's 1,000 toys out, I just think, you know, I'll do it when they go to bed. It's not a big deal. There's so many different examples that I can use, but it's just, it really is the ego dying, and maybe not even dying, maybe it's you taking control of you altogether again, and recognizing them thoughts when they pop up and putting them in perspective and realizing what's you and what's not you, and quietening that mind down a lot. You can actually feel like you're existing in a constant state of meditation sometimes, well, pretty much all of the time, if you're mindful and you're present. And being present is a very big thing, because when you start to become present, you start to realize how unpresent you've been all your life. And so there's a lot of things, mistakes and actions that you've done through not being present and being hasty. So when you start to make really good decisions through being present a lot of the time, or all of the time, your life just feels so much smoother and easier, and it just feels so much more blessed. So keep going, you will get through it, and I know that it can feel very tough, but self-care, release, let go, surrender and feel. Most importantly, allow yourself to feel, because there's nothing to fear with feeling. It can feel a little scary, but it has to be done. So rather sooner than later, release it and feel it and let go. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will be back with another video soon. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.